Hi, Virgo. Welcome to your October 2024 message for the month. My goal is always to help you hear, see, feel what you need to know so that you can get happy right now, take the next step, as well as enjoy the journey towards your manifestation. And hi, my name is Kelly Lunt. For those of you who are new to me, I'm an intuitive channel, medium, and law of attraction expert. So without further ado, Virgo, let's get into it. Your soul lesson for the month is like learning how to not complicate love, allowing love to be simple, as well as like essentially like not giving up on love either. It's kind of like recognizing that you complicated love, that there was a little bit of like this is exactly how it should unfold. This is my ideal thing. But so there's like a little bit too much rigidness in how you were approaching love. Believe it or not. And there was a little bit of trying to make yourself too much of a mystery to people that you were dating, and you would like pull your energy back to like be mysterious and try to be attractive and make them want you. But for them, the other person was just this up and down of emotions. They're here for me. They're not here for me. Will they really be here for me? So it's almost as if your attempt to keep attraction and chemistry and mystery alive was actually just unpredictability for the other person. And that's kind of why a lot of your relationships haven't worked out. And there is a little bit of what I'm hearing from the spirit guides is that like there's an element of long-term relationships do have an element of a fine line between boredom and content. It's about, can you scope out a healthy partner who's in it for the, no, I want a life mate, not just someone who's in it for the attraction, the thrills. That's what's going to help you find your life mate, Virgo. In terms of your human level lesson to make this happen, it's really about like learning how to be a team player. And I'm not saying you weren't being one. It's like really figuring out how both of you can feel like you're contributing and collaborating. Like the big key word is just the card just keeps screaming like collaboration. And there's a little bit also of recognizing that the people that you're attracting now in your life aren't as like cluster B as the people you were attracting 5, 10, 15 years ago. So conversations won't be as like convoluted, and like the people are going to be able to voice what's going on, what they want now. So you are attracting like a whole new caliber of people, even if it's like new people or people from your past, Virgo, coming back. But there is an element of like the soul of lessons, take the ownership for your way of creating attraction and chemistry. Just actually created insecure attachment and instability for the other person, which is why none of them have turned into like long-term. And your human level lesson is about like figuring out how to collaborate with the other person. And that there is an element of sometimes you're going to have to do things you don't want to do in order to have the long-term relationship that you do want. And it's kind of like, guys, no, I don't like taking my car in for an oil change, but it's a function because it's a function I've got to do. And it doesn't really matter how I feel about doing it. Like it has to be done if I want the car to last long-term. If you don't get an oil change like in a year and a half, I don't know exactly how long a car can go without an oil change. Like your engine, I think, will blow up. I'm not a mechanic. I'm just kind of remember what my dad taught me when I was younger. It might have been the transmission. There's some big major part that like will just like catch fire or something. So you may not want to go on those every morning walks with them, or you may not want to have those 15-minute everyday conversations just to like listen to them talk about their day. But that's what's going to help them feel connected to you. So it's kind of about like, there's just a little lesson in there for you that like connection and consistent communication is like the missing piece for your relationships. And it'll take the mystery out of it too. The people who are like either bad at communicating or the people who are good at communicating but don't want to waste like precious one day a week they get with you with talking about bad shit, right? Like if you talk to them every day, it's going to be so much easier to like nip arguments in the bud or to recognize like, hey, wait, how you're viewing that's not how I mean it. So you're going to be able to like catch fights earlier, or miscommunication, or just make sure you guys are continually like aligned and you're both collaborating to the longevity of the relationship. And I'm really hearing from the spirit guides, you need to let go of money you're coming across very 50-50 when that's going to attract very masculine women who are like, what? I paid for half the hotel. I paid for half of everything. And you also want me to dote on you and love on you. Like, if what you want is that person who just, oh, let me massage you, like, someone who's also working a demanding career isn't going to be like, oh, let me massage you, let me feel better, right? If you get the softer woman, though, the more feminine woman, they do need that little bit more of like daily connection. They do, to feel like loved, and so they can feel softest. They can have that like reassurance. But those are going to be the ones who, when they feel reassured emotionally, they're going to be like, "Oh, you've been working so hard. Let me massage you." So yeah, wow, interesting lessons, interesting messages, Virgo. So it looks like in your recent past, well, what I can tell you is that you have a strong foundation towards love. You have a lot of good positive momentum for love coming in. So it's kind of like you are on the right track. And like the seeds well planted for a life mate. And by life mate, I'm just gonna find it as the person that you're gonna be with for the rest of your life. Um, and it's kind of like recognizing that you're in a different age bracket now. So it's not gonna be that like glitz and glamour of that like high school love. So you kind of like need to let that go. Because when people are older, like you can't have that like 2, 3, 4 time a day daily adult time. So you gotta like let go of that image and just recognize that like your honeymoon adult time phase might look a little different if you gotta like coordinate with kids and like, because when you get older, like a lot of people do have kids, or if it's not their kids, it's nieces and nephews. And after you've been kids all day, you may not be in your most sexiest, I'm attractive, come play with me vibe. I might be like, oh my God, can we just like lay here and chill for a while and let me settle? And then we could do it. So it's not expecting that like, oh my God, I've missed you all day. Because if they've been with kids all day, they might need a little, oh my God, can we just hug and be silent and maybe watch a movie? And then be like, okay, I feel recharged. Now we can do that. So it's kind of like giving the other person grace to be a human and like recognizing that you're in a different age bracket. This is very specific messages. You guys give me some comments. In terms of your energy right now, well, your energy right now is positive. Like there's good change, actions happening, forward movements happening. There's a lot of forward movement in your life. It's kind of like you're like that. I'm gonna give love one last hurrah, but going into the future, I think going into the future, you're gonna recognize that like that whole I'm gonna come in and make it spicy and like give all this energy to make love happen. You're gonna it's like you're gonna recognize like, oh wait, no, when you're like with the right person, you naturally feel recharged and attracted. You guys both naturally kind of like gravitate towards each other's. Like, I don't know if you guys have been around kids lately. When you see little kids, and I mean like 10 and under, maybe even like 7 and under, when there's a person that they like, they're like kissing cheeks, like holding hands. And I'm like, you guys like just met 20 minutes ago. Like, what's up with this, And then like all the little like 5 and 7-year-olds are like, oh, I got 2 girlfriends at school. Cause they just let it be like this kind of like primal thing, right? So primal meaning you guys are attracted to each other versus like I'm gonna like drop some attraction trigger things I learned, whether you're like a seductress or a seducer. So it's kind of like you're gonna give it one last little seducer, seductress hoorah, but you're gonna like, okay, I can't do that every time I want like spicy time with them. So you're gonna like just kind of like surrender in manifestation terms and be like, universe, I just know that I need my relationships to be very sexual and sensual. Give me the person that chemistry is there, and just recognize everything I said earlier. Because you were the one creating instability and confusion in your love. So even if you had a healthy partner in there, if you had like a cluster B or someone who was unhealthy, like, gosh, that was just going to trigger them even more and make them even more like crazy with the in and out, insecure attachment. But even if you had a secure attachment, they'd be like, okay, I like him, but like, what the heck? When can I rely on him? What can I depend on him for? Okay, so in terms of your personal power this month, this is an interesting card. Your personal power this month is to like recognize that relationships are actually creativity. And it's like, wouldn't it be nice if I just had a relationship where we both wanted the same amount of adult time, where we both love doing the same amount of day trips, or we both just kind of had a good ebb and flow in life. Like, even if I go to bed earlier than them, and I know I need the lights off, they might like having the lights off in the evening too, so they can just like wind down. I don't mind noise on. Like, I can sleep through noise, and they like playing music in the dark. Like, so it's kind of like recognize that relationships, like, be creative in your creation in it, in your mind and in your it would be so like what would make me feel really loved is a decent amount of home cooked meals every week, or at least them making some of the bits and pieces of the meal and like bringing it to me. Wouldn't that be cool? Because then like, and that's a good match for someone who likes to show their love via food. That's a good match for a woman who's just looking for someone to like caretake for. So it's like recognizing that it's not about doing that seducer, seductress, attraction trigger, pickup artist bullshit where you spike attraction, 20-year-old love. It's more about that creativity, like the who else wants this type of a relationship? Or like, I love to be cuddled, right? You can focus on that first because it's always easier for people to go like, I want a relationship where we cuddle a lot, where we do day trips a lot, where we do go to trivia. But then like what does your ideal partner get out of it, right? If you like to go to trivia, you don't necessarily need another little brainiac partner to go with you, but it could be, well, the person who just likes to get out of the house at least once a week and have a little guaranteed date night once a week, or the person who just loves to be in awe of like, how do you guys know that? How do you know that? Right? It's put a little energy into, well, here's what I like doing. Well, the person who likes this would like it. Okay, in terms of outside influences, well, outside people's energies, it looks like a lot of the people right now in your energy, Virgo, are people who are like nostalgically looking back to the family time they had when they were younger, and that they're definitely at a place of like yearning to recreate that sense of family now. And they're like recognizing the value of longevity, the value, not routine. What's that word? Tradition. They're like, it's kind of like the people you're attracting, they don't have a lot of strong family ties in the sense of that like family tradition, maybe because some of them have moved away, maybe because some of them have passed on. So they're kind of at this like in between where they're like, well, I'm kind of a blank slate to create new traditions, but they also definitely still want that like family structure and that like family unit and that like, yeah, these are the people we spend the holidays with. This is the person we spend that we do the holidays with. So like, all right, it's October, guys. What do we want to do for Thanksgiving? What do we want to do for like, Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate around that time of the year? So it's like recognizing the value of that. And that's why you're attracting a lot of people who are like, well, what are you thinking about doing for the holidays? And you're like, no, stop it. Cause you're still trying to create that like high school love where it's all about chemistry, raw sexual passion. But it's like recognizing that that like, oh, we're doing this for Christmas. We already bought the tickets. That does give the other person reassurance so they can like relax and go, okay, this is my person. I think you're going to be surprised, Virgo, by how much that's going to let a healthy partner relax to actually just enjoy the unfoldment of the relationship when you're willing to like long-term plan. Okay, in terms of your hopes or fears this month, it looks like there is a little part of you that's starting to think like, if love was supposed to happen for me, shouldn't have happened already by now. Maybe I'm doomed in the love life. I have so much like career success, but my love life just sucks. Maybe I just like came down to live that life. Maybe I'm paying for like the super spiritual people will be like, I'm a past life. I made the agreement to suffer this life, which that's BS, guys. That's just a current fear right now that you're unwilling to face. Yeah, and it looks like for the outcome for the month, the outcome for this month, it kind of looks like you're not gonna sink into, I just want a healthy, stable, long-term relationship. There's still a part of you that just has this love is confusion, attraction is confusing. It's this like puzzle piece. You gotta like time it. When like you don't just have to time it or you don't have to like spike attraction. It's just like recognizing like, oh, they were like outside cleaning all day. They're probably going to need to come home and just like, let me greet them with like clean clothes, let them go shower, let me give them some water and just like let them unwind. Sure, sometimes will they just fall asleep and pass out because they're tired? Yes. But if you're doing the like, I don't want to say daily, but like the weekly, like, baby, look at that outfit, there's going to be a baseline level of attraction and chemistry there. So that sometimes they'll fall asleep because they're human, they're tired, but then other times it will be a, oh my God, I slept, I'm recharged now, babe. But they're gonna have that like turn on just from like during the week you like surprise them with lunch, or you like, hey, thank you so much for doing that for me, and give them a kiss, or whatever their like love language is. So it's like recognizing that it's when you do these big spikes to get it going and then you drop off, it feels too unstable and unpredictable for the person. So that's why you can get short-term relationships but not long-term ones. And it's recognizing that relationships do kind of long-term ones reside between like boredom and contentment, with dips up into happiness and dips up into I'm disappointed, we should go do something fun. But that's where like when you navigate the, oh, we find for us we best work when we take, when like once a quarter we do take a little weekend getaway. Right, because from your point of view right now, you'll be, I don't want to commit to having to take her or him on a weekend getaway like every week, or I don't want them to expect that out of me, so I'm just not going to do it. But it's like recognize that there is an element of variety that every person needs, and it's like you two finding your own cadence. So if I can give you any law of attraction tips, it would be universe, God, or don't even say either of those. You could just say, if there's a way for love to be spicy and keep attraction and chemistry alive, and to also feel more simple, I'm willing to become aware of that way of being in relationship. I know that I'd like attraction and chemistry to be there, and I would like a very sexual relationship, but I'd also like the communication and the connection to be like harmonious and simpatico, and we both get to like demonstrate our autonomy, and conflicts, even though that like they'll come up, but we just seem to navigate them so smoothly where we both feel win-win afterwards. Because that's like another big thing that you're learning right now. There's a little bit of like a, I either win or I lose, when it's like, no, how do you guys like navigate to win-win? And one example I'm feeling called to share is there was one relationship I was in, and he kind of like planned, hey, let's go on this like 2-3 hour long distance day trip. And part of me was like, wow, it's kind of like, wow, it's like a 3-hour drive. I'm like, well, okay, I did ask him for a day trip though. That's sweet of him. Then when it came down to actually executing on it, he was like, no, I'm so tired. Like, you don't understand. In my mind, I was like, you're the one who planned the 3-hour one. Like, what the heck? I would have been fine with driving like 30 minutes to a waterfall, or I would have been fine. Like, hell, what if we just went to the damn park, 5-10 minute walk from my house? So that's where like the conflict resolution is like, okay, I can see how tired you are. Of course I feel sad and disappointed because you put this big grand experience in my mind. You're the one that suggested it. And now it does kind of feel like you're backpedaling. But I guess for me, it's just really important. It's not going on that trip you promised. It was, I want to be out and about with you. I'm going to wear a pretty sundress. It's summer, so I want to be out and about in a pretty sundress. And I do kind of be like seen in public with you. Because then he'd be like, oh, that's all you wanted? Okay, I have an energy for a shorter one. What about this? And it's like, yeah, that works. So you see how that's like conflict resolution? That's like, what's that called in psychology? Conflict intimacy, conflict resolution, not conflict resolution, experiential intimacy. I can't remember the term, but it's where you guys seem to want opposing things. I want to stay in and rest. I'm so tired. I want to go out and about. Well, what about going out and about? Because that seems tiring to me. Oh, you're fine if we just go have a picnic in the park? Because to wear a pretty sundress? Like, well, okay, I've got the energy to go sit at a park as long as it's cool weather and under a tree. And if you plan all the stuff for the food, like, yeah, I'll pick you up. Let's go. Because now you both feel like a win. They still get to rest and not do that much. I hope that makes sense, guys. All right, Virgo, I wish you guys lots of love, lots of luck this month. Give me any questions or comments. And don't forget, Monday through Friday, I go live 10 a.m. Eastern time with a channeled message, a fresh daily channeled message from Spirit. On Tuesdays, I go live a second time at 11 a.m. Eastern time in my Facebook group, which is in the description, and my Instagram page where I do free mini reads. And I also have a workshop coming up. The October workshop is October 26th. It's a synchronization workshop. So it's your deliberate askings from infinite intelligence from source. So whatever it is you're manifesting, when you come and bring your energy to the workshop, that's the energy that's called forth from spirit. And you're also catapulted forward because of all the asks the other attendees are making. So I'll put the links for that one in the comment. But lots of love this month, October. Lots of love to you this month, Virgo, in October.